Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and this is 70mm, a podcast for movie fans just like you or lovers. Disclaimer at the top of the show, we're not experts, but we do love watching movies. With me each and every episode is my close friend and artist, Danny Haas.
Hello.
And our close friend and movie insider, Part Alexis.
Another 5 years of real hard work, and maybe I'll be a human being.
Every movie that we cover is connected to a theme for that month, and this time it's Monster Tober, one of our most popular months ever. My pick this week is Joe Dante's The Howling from 1981, and you can use the chapters in your podcast app to skip right to that discussion if you want. Scott Marvel left a shocking review on Letterboxd for this movie, tagged 70mmPod. Quote, "I'm not into hairy bohemian goth chicks, even if they are nymphos." End quote.
Jeez.
Scott, I disagree. We'll get into it in the Howling segment later in the show. Cat 6 happening in Florida right now. Danny, are you...
The big one.
Is the roof still attached to your home this Wednesday evening in Florida? Can you give us a sit rep live?
Sit rep. The
Boots on the ground.
Backyard is flooding.
Oh.
I can see standing water. But for now, we're fine. Lots of wind, lots of rain.
Mm-hmm.
So more to come. Milton has just made landfall.
Oh,
okay?
my God.
It's coming for us. About 2 a.m. it'll hit us. There's our neighbors.
Look at that. Casey just posted a live report in chat. That looks like a concrete road back
This is from ground zero.
That is water. That's standing water in their backyard.
Is there a croc floating around in that water?
The rule is every body of water in Florida has a crocodile in it.
Yeah, but you also post you troll crocodiles. Schrodinger's croc. You post videos of you attacking crocodiles and teasing them though. That's part of your something you do.
It's child's play in Florida.
Right. Yeah. I don't even know where to go from here.
You don't graduate high school unless you wrestle a crocodile.
Until you slap a croc across the face. You can't graduate.
Horns. That's a horns lock 'em, right? Lock 'em up. Is that the thing
That's
they say?
Wrong state. That's Texas.
Texas, lock 'em up. Hands up, devil horns, lock 'em up.
'em.
Roll Tide.
Nope. You changed states again.
We don't know what's happening in Florida. We wish everyone the best. I saw rumors on Reddit that Kamala Harris is using weather weapons to potentially cause what's happening in Florida. Proto, did you see this on
This
Reddit?
has to be alien technology. Did you see this on /aliens? It had to be. There's no other answer.
They are skinwalkers.
There's just more proof that the tech is here already. And that some parties have it and are using it.
Yeah.
I am experiencing a Reddit renaissance, a Reddit-assance right now with the headlines that I'm scrolling through. I mean, spoilers for our Minari episode that we recorded for patrons. We got into topics you will not even expect in the Minari episode. And yes, it's about Zachary Levi on Reddit. Okay. We spent 10 minutes on Zachary Levi in the Minari episode. So if you want to subscribe, you want to hear our hot takes, there you have it.
If you want to see how we connect those dots, join us.
Oh, my God. All right. The main news to kick off the show is the final week for Monster Tober. Again, thanks everyone for the kind words and the title of this month. Lots of fun. We're going to be putting it to a vote. Because the main pick we're going to make isn't streaming, so we decided we'd put it to a vote on Patreon. And it's going to involve something I don't think we've ever done before. One of the picks. Making an executive decision right now. So it'll be between 3 movies. The first one being Young Frankenstein.
That's a huge pick.
That is a huge pick. How do you feel about that, Danny? Potentially being a pick.
I mean, it's definitely one I've wanted to do for the show. And I feel like we need a redemption for Gene Wilder on our podcast.
Yeah, we're not going to say which host really hammered Gene on the Wonka episode.
Excuse me.
That's also behind the Patreon, by the way. I forgot.
Oh, really?
Proto, do you have any thoughts on Young Frankenstein? Potentially being the final episode
I would
this month.
love to do Young Frankenstein. I don't know the last time I've seen it. I don't know if I could recall the plot, but Mel Brooks, when we talk about the top, Mel's name comes to mind.
Next on the list for the vote, there's going to be 3 movies. We're not going to expand it too hard. We don't want to, separate the vote out. We don't want too many independent parties screwing things up. It's going to be the original Salem's Lot.
Oh.
From the master himself, Toby TOBER.
The amount of times I've almost pushed play on that this month.
Yeah.
The amount of times.
Yeah. Jash in chat, Slim, we need this. People need to know, Jash says in chat.
Yeah. This was a made-for-TV movie, if I remember correctly, but it lives in our hearts, this movie. So this would be another huge win for us.
When has a Stephen King made-for-TV movie ever gone wrong?
When has
on this show?
Not on this show.
Finally, this is something that proves the innovation never stops at the show. Many years ago, we covered a movie for Patreon. A lot of fun. It sparked probably many conversations, many lifelong friends. But we're going to do something we've never done before. We're going to do what's the word? Remastered edition. Potentially, if it wins the vote.
Yeah,
we'll do the movie again for the first time, but for all audiences.
Again for the first time.
We will be adding in the final potential movie is going to be Twilight. So Young Frankenstein. Yeah, I mean, technically out of the vault, redone. I don't remember anything about that movie except for the smelling that Robert Pattinson did when he saw her in class. Sniffgasm that he had. So Salem's Lot, movie number 2, and then Twilight. Proto, do you remember much about the original Twilight and us covering it on Patreon?
Yeah, Robert Pattinson's performance in that, what he found another gear. The things that he did with his body, with Becca, was it Becca? What's her name? Whatever they did together, a vampire story and werewolf story. I mean, really, when you talk about Monster Tober,
yeah,
the bang for your buck out of this episode is just
That's true.
Would be fantastic.
The writing's on the wall. So there you have it. Patrons will get to vote between those 3 movies, and that will be our final movie of Monster Tober. Just a reminder, next week's movie is Nosferatu.
Big one.
BOG. Lots to get to tonight, though. Max joined our Patreon. Max will be able to vote on those movies to see what gets to be the final movie at patreon.com/70mm. Got access to uncut episodes, bonus episodes. The Minari episode will be right there for Max to listen to. And what else is in there? There was something else I want to talk about our Patreon. What was it? Voting. You get to vote for the final movie this month if you're a patron. One of the many perks. So check it out. Proto, did you watch any other movies this week that you want to talk about?
I did. I had a great week. I watched some enjoyable movies. The big one for me though, was in my Criterion Challenge. Went back to the Edward Yang well. If you remember, I watched his movie A Brighter Summer Day a couple weeks ago, and for the same challenge, and didn't really have a great time with that. But I had another movie on my list of his that came out in 2000 called YIYI. I think it's pronounced that way. YIYI. It's a Korean movie, or I'm sorry, it's a Chinese movie. And he, it's a story of a family in the 2000s. I think it's, man,
Love it already.
Now I'm questioning everything. Yeah, it's in the 2000s. But it's like, it's a long movie, but it's like this slice of life, look into each character as a part of this family. So it kind of tells their story. I thought of Uslim the whole time I was watching it because it kind of reminded me of Jean Delmont in a way of how it's like fly on the wall, observing someone's life in that way. Also kind of Nothing Burger a bit, but not entirely. I think if you're paying attention, it's not a Nothing Burger. But it's also very like engaging, everything that's going on in the movie. I gave it 5 stars.
Oh my God.
Edward Yang, he's redeemed himself in my book with this movie. I loved it. I really loved it. And I think there's a reason why this is also world renowned. It has a 4.5 on Letterboxd.
Cripes. 4 or 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Great movie. There's a scene where the dad, this happens at the beginning of the movie, they're at a wedding and his son won't eat anything. So he takes him to McDonald's while they're like, the wedding's still going on. And like just seeing the McDonald's from this time period, like gave me like the feels. It's really great to see a movie that's set in this time. I think it's one of my favorites.
I just posted a screenshot of the poster of YIYI, and I was like, wait, have I seen this poster before? And I was thinking of the Gosford Park poster. Very similar, in my opinion. It
does give me Robert Altman vibes, so maybe there's something there.
Hello.
The alternator.
Is that what his like poker buddies called him when he entered the room to play cards for 6 hours?
Stupid.
I also watched from last year, 2023 La Chimera. And this is a movie starring Josh O'Connor. You guys remember Josh O'Connor?
Oh, yeah. He's like the hot boy right now.
He's very hot now.
Boy.
He was one of the boys in Challengers.
Oh, yes.
The one with the, But in this, he plays this guy, Arthur. And he's a sad, he's like a sad white boy, but really like sad English white boy. He's in, Italy or Spain. I'm fuzzy on which one it was. I think it's Italy. We'll go with Italy. But he has this ability, he has this gift to be able to find burial grounds. And he has a team of grave robbers. So they're looking to find a grave, dig it up, and pull things out of it. So he has like this misfit gang. So he's like kind of reminds me of Elliot Gould from like The Long Goodbye. He wears like this crumpled suit. He's smoking all the time. But then he's kind of like a poor man's Indiana Jones in some ways. So it's a really interesting premise. Like it piqued my interest when I heard about this. I remember the trailer came out last year. I ended up giving it 3 stars because I don't think it had it didn't have the full cup of juice that I wanted out of it. But it's a really nice little movie. So it's on Hulu. It's out there.
Okay, never heard of this movie. What do I want to talk about? Is there anything I want to talk about? Let me see. I rewatched Return of the Living Dead last night. Extremely good.
You love that movie. You love that movie.
I said to my wife that we haven't really been watching anything Halloween-y related, like any scary movies. So I put my foot down and I fired up Return of the Living Dead. I've had enough of not watching it. And just easily, in my opinion, I don't want to upset anyone out there, the zombie heads. I mean, it's not even close. This is the greatest zombie movie ever made.
Ever?
Yeah.
Easily. What did Amanda think?
She agrees. She has a hoot rewatching this with me. We laugh.
Really?
We have a good time. I I mean, it's on Pluto right now. It's on Prime. I thought I owned it digitally, but apparently not. So we had to sit through like, not to harp on Amazon Prime ads again, but there's a lot of ads. It's like, you get like every 45 minutes, it's like 6 ads. I don't know anymore. I just don't know. So I need to buy it. There is a 4K. I have not grabbed the 4K. How much is the 4K right now? $21.99.
There you go. Prime Day.
It is Prime Day.
It is kind of disturbing when you think that we're living in a world where we just sit through commercials for movies. At this point.
Mosh is linking to my Dawn of the Dead review. Remember the scandal that happened when I was rewatching those Romero movies?
No, please remind us.
You talk about people having just like the hardest.
Oh, God.
Just like they're stiff in their pants when someone brings up the Romero zombie movies. And if you even hint that they're not perfect films, they're going to be upset. I mean, we got a taste of someone who we talked about a horror movie that we didn't love. We got that into our DMs this week about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Will you read that DM? Please?
Listen, I don't want to, not to bring up Threads, because no one uses it probably besides me every couple days.
Yeah.
But I posted that DM on Threads and that thing lit up.
You got some traction?
I got some insane engagement on Threads.
Yeah.
I posted it a couple days ago and I said, this is why I do it. We got this DM. Pro tip to anyone that listens to a podcast and disagrees with them, never do this. Best of luck to your podcast. I think it's great you get to discuss movies so regularly. Though your opinion on Texas Chainsaw Massacre was so terrible, and I felt compelled to tell you guys. I'm like in shock at the way you berated such a classic. Truly, best of luck, boys. But I'm so offended and hope to not listen in the future.
Got him.
Doesn't follow us, but felt the need to send that DM because we didn't love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre as much as they did.
I don't know if my love of Franklin shone through enough.
We love Franklin.
Yeah.
We were effusive in our praise for loving Franklin.
I'm going to give a counter suggestion.
Oh.
If you have an opinion like this about specifically our podcast, please send it.
Yes, please. I'd
love to hear it more.
So Return of the Living Dead, watch it. I like it better than those crappy Romero movies. Danny,
God.
What did you watch?
Wait, is there not one Romero?
They're not crappy. I just don't love them.
Just
like the music in the third one. Yeah, I was being evocative right there. That was evocative.
Oh, it was for the show. Excuse me.
Provocative, even if you want to go that far.
Voc me.
I like the music in Dawn of the Dead. I think that's the one with the zombie face on the cover where it's like the soldiers. Great soundtrack to that movie. But like every time I watch them, I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, Romero. I think I love this movie. And then I watch, I'm like, yeah, that was good. But like, everyone calm down.
I'm looking at the backdrops for Return of the Living Dead. I might have to fire this up tomorrow.
Wait, Night of the Living Dead's a banger.
Oh yeah.
The original?
The OG.
The black and white.
68.
What's my rating on Night of the Living Dead?
I don't know. Dale gave it 5. Why should I bother looking at yours?
He probably gave it a handicap 4. He gave it an extra star.
Night of the Living Dead.
To appease.
My rating. All right, it's not logged. I have it at 3 stars.
You're at 3 stars. No. Am I going to be a Romero hater?
I feel like I'm not going to love Night of the Living Dead from 1968, shoestring budget, black and white. I think the 4K is on YouTube at this point. All right, I'm not going to go any further. I don't need to talk about this topic anymore.
We're going to have some great DMs this week.
We have to move on. In fact, if I watch Night of the Living... No, I don't want to talk about this anymore. We need to move on. Danny, what did you watch this week?
Hold on, I clicked off my diary to read your Night of
the Living Dead. Danny watched this week.
I've only watched one other thing, I think. I didn't talk about The Man Who Knew Too Much, but that's fine. I don't want to talk about that one. I watched The Summer of '84, a movie from 2018, not from 1984. It's about a serial killer in a small town in the 80s. Kids, Goonie kids solve the mystery or try to solve the mystery. Allegedly find, the mystery. Had a great time watching this. It's got 80s vibes, a great synth soundtrack, silly looking boys trying to find a serial killer with walkie-talkies and, shoestring budget.
Mm-hmm.
Had a great time watching it. It was definitely a 3.5 star with a heart letterbox good time.
It's a great poster.
Yeah, it is.
It's got a couple great alternative ones too.
It's like Fright Night meets Goonies.
Yeah, it has that Fright Nights vibes for sure. Well, that's just in the posters. It doesn't have Fright Night vibes in the movie. No. I could tell you that for sure. But I was kind of wishing they would do like an anthology. I put that in my review. It'd be rad if they did like Summer of 94, Summer of 74, like these like one-off stories, but somehow they're connected would be rad. Anyway,
you ever watched
I had a
those
great time
VHS
watching it.
movies? There's like a bunch of those
I
VHS
keep meaning
movies,
to fire it up.
I mean, they're not highly
people,
rated, but
not people. I think isn't there a new one that people are losing their minds over recently? All right, you're shaking your head, but I know you.
I just did a Kermit face.
You just did the.
What's Wes Craven doing? Can we get him on Summer of 94?
You know when Jim Henson does like a fist in the Kermit face? That's what Slim's face just looked like. The lips just curled in.
Oh, is that how he does that? He made a fist?
Just a fist.
Wow.
My truth, my bravery right
anyway, Summer 84. Good time. Had a great time watching it.
All right. I mentioned Max joined our Patreon this week. Every week we give out a free year of Letterboxd. Patron gets rid of ads, custom backdrops, posters, streaming services, and we give it out to a new patron for us. So Max, you just won a free year. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Keep up the good work.
Congrats.
Clarence,
you did great work.
Somebody resurrect Wes Craven and get him on this. Oh, God. What's John Carpenter doing? Josh suggests. I think we all know what he's doing right now. He's getting high as a kite. He's probably playing Prince of Persia or whatever video games he plays.
Halo 3.
God, remember our Halo discussion in the games channel this week in our Discord? Proto?
I ignored it. I muted that channel instantly.
Did you want to hear what we talked about, Danny, or should we save that for the uncut?
What you talk about save for uncut, because I don't want to talk about Halo.
All right. If you're not subscribed to our Patreon, you're going to miss on our hot Halo talk.
He hasn't healed.
The Howling, episode 240 in a series from 1981, Joe Dante of Gremlins, The Burbs, many more. Piranha, Small Soldiers. This is my pick for Monster Tober, the wolf angle. I went for the wolf angle.
Yeah.
Proto, what is The Howling about?
Karen is a nationally known talking head whose story begins by meeting her stalker, Eddie, in the red light district. Her plan to allow herself to be murdered by Eddie is thwarted when a police officer discharges his firearm into a closed door, killing the perp. Karen's husband, Bill, thinks the sensible thing to do is have a weekend getaway at a hunter's lodge, doubling as a psychiatric retreat. Unbeknownst to Karen, the colony is run by a pack of werewolves, which Bill joins when the nymphomaniac werewolf offers to bone. Karen's only hope of survival is a pack of silver bullets and a man in a Mazda. We learn that werewolves love a good fiddle band in The Howling.
That might be one of my favorite summaries.
We need to get these on our Letterboxd account. 70mm needs to post these.
I think you're going to say you need to get this on a shirt.
Can't do
that too. Once I get my hands on that new hoodie, that logo that Danny has.
Hoodie.
Top 3 favorite Joe Dante films. Danny, set the stage for us, please.
You're doing this again to me.
Until I get tired of it.
He's not going to stop.
I don't know movies of his besides Gremlins. I'm going to say something, and I don't mean to be that guy. I've never seen The Burbs.
It's okay.
It's never interested me. I figure we will. I don't have a top 3 for Joe Dante. And I feel bad saying that.
Wow. Top 1.
I don't have a top 1 for Joe Dante.
Have you seen Gremlins?
My.
I have kind of. I remember it a bit. It just never interested me. I don't know.
Okay.
Twilight Zone,
There's
the movie,
something-
probably.
There's something for us to investigate there. With
Yeah.
the Gremlins. Because I feel like if
think
you're
I'd
like
like
a
it.
regular, if you're like a regular listener of the show, you would think that Danny is a Gremlins fan.
Oh, yeah, that's true. The Spielberg angle.
Right. Amblin.
The Amblin vibes. Yeah, maybe I'll give Gremlins a go sometime.
Okay.
You know?
It's a Christmas movie. So it's coming
don't
up.
do that to me. Don't
It's
do that.
one of those.
Don't do that.
Proto?
I've seen 3 Joe Dante movies.
There you go.
The first is The Explorers. Did you guys see this?
I just clicked on the poster.
I have
What
seen
is
this.
that?
I saw
Pretty sure I've
this
seen it.
when I was a kid. It came out in 1985. And from what I remember, it's a bunch of kids who I think they get a spaceship or build one or something. And they
I'm
get into
listening.
space. That's all I really remember. I have really fond memories of this, and I'm afraid to rewatch this.
Yo, this cast.
So-
What the?
Yeah, I mean,
I've actually
Ethan Hawke.
started to watch this, I think, twice in the last 6 months, and I have not finished it. It's been on like Pluto or Tubi or something, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah, Joe Dante with these kids that ended up being stars, and for some reason, I just could never finish it.
Yeah, I could see us doing this someday. Again, I'm afraid to revisit, but it could be great. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the other 2 I've seen The Burbs, and I thought The Burbs was fine.
Mm.
And I've seen Small Soldiers.
What's my rating for Gremlins before I speak up here? Okay, no rating. Smart move. The Burbs, in no particular order. The Burbs, and I think it's obviously, it's fine for you to have not seen a movie, but The Burbs was like kind of hard to track down for a few years. I think
Was it?
like maybe even early pandemic, it like first started being like available. I don't know, it was like tied up for some reason. Gremlins 2, I watched for the first time this year or this past year. Dynamite film. A lot of people
Gremlins
say
2
that
is.
Gremlins 2, because he was like, the studio apparently really wanted to make a sequel, but he refused for a long time. And he ended up agreeing and got triple the budget and full creative control, which like
What the?
allegedly didn't happen again after this movie because of this movie, because he ended up making like a total satire of the Gremlins movie, Hollywood, and it's like this weird inside joke, like dark comedy. It's wild. So I recommend people watch it. And then I think I remember liking the second Civil War that I mentioned a couple weeks ago. It's like
Makes sense.
it was like an HBO.
Makes sense in where you stand
That's
on the
not
Civil War.
true. That is not true, folks. The weather weapons that are being used above Danny right now. The second Civil War was like an HBO movie, like way back when HBO was just
Hell's box office.
Yes. And it had movies produced for the channel. Very strange, very funny. Check it out. So that's me.
Cool.
Sounds like I'm on the worst date ever. Cool. I'll start off with my top note here for The Howling. I have watched The Howling a couple years ago, maybe, and I remember really loving the ending. That was kind of the only thing I remember about The Howling. But I thought it was interesting on this rewatch that it's not like a hardcore horror movie. It's pretty slow and almost like a drama for the most part. And they really keep the werewolving in the background to try to like kind of like make it cool. And I read that they did this because I think this came out the same year as an American, what's the one that we covered before?
Werewolf in London.
Werewolf in London, which was like a comedy and helped rejuvenate the genre. But apparently werewolf movies were lame and nobody cared about them. So that is like why they kind of tried to make this almost like a slasher movie, and then you don't really realize that like the werewolf stuff until later. Like I know it's called The Howling, but they don't make it the forefront. So I thought that was a fascinating way for them to make a werewolf movie. Whether or not it works entirely, I thought it was a pretty cool angle. And they drop seeds of, the colony being werewolf people a lot, like, because I watched this a few times now, and I definitely catch it more on the rewatches. But I'd be curious what you guys thought of, the setup for this werewolf movie being pretty slow going for a while. Proto?
Well, you said that, like the knowing that the whole place was werewolves. I think that just the synopsis of this on Letterboxd spoils it for you because it says she's sent to a rehabilitation center where inhabitants may not be what they seem. And it's like, okay, it's a movie about werewolves. They're all werewolves. So at no point did I have any doubt that was what's happening. And maybe I heard it somewhere else, but it was just like a fact that it seemed clear to me from the start of this. So whatever maybe tension that was trying to build of like, who's the werewolf, I didn't really have any of that. So in some ways, I feel like I didn't really watch the movie probably as it was intended to be. As to you describing this as like more of a drama, I think I agree. I think it's interesting that you say that the werewolves are in the background, because then that would beg the question, what's in the foreground? Like, what is this movie about other than the werewolves? I don't have any answers.
It's about horny werewolves that get off on making you watch a gangbang and then transform into a werewolf in a peep show room. I mean, that guy, the serial killer to start the movie, his like transformation in that room, he is ready for action as soon as he transforms partially into a werewolf. Danny, your thoughts on that scene?
Did she put the quarter in the machine too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I was like, don't put it in the gangbang one. Pick another coin slot. D. Please.
My queen.
That scene, the fact that the movie starts there, they give no explanation as to what's going on.
Barely.
They just drop you in there.
And you can kind of like sense it like, oh, okay, the police are around there. There's the walkie-talkie thing. They're kind of involved. But why would this be your plan? What is even the plan? What is she attempting to do?
Yeah.
How is this helping her? Are they trying to catch this guy? It doesn't seem like they're trying that hard. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even the technology at the time, they send her to like follow the stickers or whatever, or to like go to the phone booth. She's got no backup. There's nothing like the neon lights are interfering with the radio waves. That guy said.
That can't be a thing. That's not a thing. It cannot be a real thing.
Like, there's nobody there. There should have been 5 people tailing her at any given moment, and she's in this porn shop alone with a serial murderer. Like it's like insane how that she almost was just destroyed in the.
They also
first 10
have
minutes.
The oldest cop on the force and the guy who started yesterday as like
when he started just shooting into that room,
right?
And then what was the old guy's reaction? Was like, holster that weapon.
Just put the piece down, kid.
He just started firing.
You've done enough.
I couldn't believe it. The blood pouring out the door.
Oh my God, yeah. He narrowly avoided our girl, Dee Wallace, in that moment. She got pushed to the ground. That's the only reason she survived.
Honestly, that scene was too real of just a cop just unloading on a closed door. It's scary.
Oh boy. Proto, top of your list for The Howling.
Top of my list. Now, we've talked about this before. Movies are dreams, and movies, they don't have to make sense.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That being said, this movie barely made any sense. And I was pissed off for most of the movie.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Anything that anybody was doing, like, why were they doing it? The whole thing with Bill, her husband, like, why does he immediately turn on her? He gets bit, of course, but then he's just like not even human anymore. He's converted. He's just like, all right, I'm just gonna go have sex with another another werewolf,
Right.
and you know, I'll kill my wife and eat her later if I have to. Like the sudden change, or why is Karen? Why does she have no ability to move when a man is transforming into a werewolf? That scene with Eddie at the end, it's like 5 minutes long, and she's standing there the whole time watching it happen. I'm like, Karen, do something. Do something.
She has PTSD. Once this stuff happens, you know, the lights flash in her eyes. She goes blank. She doesn't know what to do, Proto. Come on.
PTSD.
She's been through a lot. She's trying to heal.
She's probably just as shocked at the practical effect as we are. What she's seeing in front of her.
The bubbling of his skin.
Amazing. The skin bubbling.
Shared like a making of with the dude who did the special effects.
Yo.
How old was he?
Here, I'm going to drop it on live chat. He was 21 years old in this photo when he made the film. He looks like a werewolf.
Rob Bottin.
The hair on his chest at 21, I can't even believe it. I won't lose that much hair on my chest in my whole lifetime.
That man in any given day could become WWF champion right there.
That is the lead singer of Alabama.
But I was reading like apparently the special. So I had a problem watching this. We did Werewolf in London. I feel like there's almost no what was the special effects creator that went to London instead of this one? It was like the big time special effects guy.
He left this movie to go to American Werewolf.
Bat and Spider fans having a heart attack right now because I can't.
They're throwing shoes at us.
Rick Baker, was it Rick Baker?
The Rick Baker. Rick Baker, the original special effects artist of the film, but left in production to go work on American Werewolf in London.
So I don't know. Everything I read about the Howling was like revolutionary special effects. It helped revitalize the genre. I feel like you can't even compare London special effects to this one. Like
really,
maybe,
you feel the same.
The technology is cool for like the bubbling face and stuff, but it didn't like wow me like American Werewolf in London transformation did.
No, I'll agree to that.
I love like the werewolf design, like the shadows of the tall werewolf with the high ears. Like that stuff is cool. But the transformation scene, I feel like pales in comparison to London.
I think it's because the transformation scene is poorly filmed. Like it's like poorly edited and it takes too long. It makes no sense. But visually, I'm still kind of in love with it. It's not as good as the werewolf transformation in American Werewolf in London.
Right.
But it's still a pretty damn good time to watch. The bubbling skin, I loved. I love the fangs, coming out of their mouth, the ear just coming out of the top of their head for no reason because you have ears on your head already. It made no sense, but I loved it. I don't know. I was like enamored with both wolf transformations, even though they lasted a good 10% of this film.
20 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. This one, not nearly as good as other ones that I've seen. And the bubbling is just kind of weird. And it went on too long. It's like you're watching this guy's his forehead bubble for like 30 seconds. It's like, all right, Joe, we get it. But the thing I wish they did more is there's the one moment where they're at the campfire and there's like that scene of animation that happens.
Literal 2D animation.
Crazy.
What in the world?
And the way that it's like blended into the scene, it's like done really well that you almost you could like not notice that it's animation.
Oh no,
then it goes up.
There's no way.
Well,
you think
I mean,
that's good.
but like the shadows that they do it, like it's very dark.
That's fun.
And it's like, so I mean, you could tell it's animation, but like it's, I almost wanted more of that in those scenes. Like I feel like they did really cool things with that.
The last shot, I think the like 3 werewolves running at the end, they were like the stop motion puppets. Did you catch those guys?
No.
Yo, that was rad too.
I think I thought maybe what Proto described was that scene at the end of the car chase scene. Like, doesn't the car drive away and then there's 3 werewolves standing there? I think that's what I'm thinking of, right?
He's describing the after the fornication by the fire.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you see them fully transformed. That's just 2D animation drawn onto that scene.
I missed that.
How do you miss that scene? What are you doing?
I was in ecstasy.
See, I told you.
I mean, they were rolling around in that dirt for a while too, buck naked.
That's how the werewolves like it.
God. I mean, honestly, it seems pretty cool to be a werewolf, right? Like, based on this.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what these people were so mad about having to go to a colony to be pissed off about our life sucks. And maybe that's not why they were there, but like the doctor was trying to be more kumbaya and like, let's connect with the regular humans. But
let's only eat cows.
You get to run around at night at warp speed. You get to just go crazy most of the time. I don't know. It seems kind of cool.
And they also said that these werewolves can control it. It's not like they lose their mind. It's not like a Jekyll and Hyde situation. So yeah, this is like great. A great skill to have.
Exactly. Thank you.
There was that one reaction though. I think with the second news anchor comes to town and she's done all the like research. She shines that light into that one werewolf and he like super reacts to the light in his face. And I'm like, when did we have rules for these werewolves at this point in the film?
So were you just knowing that they were all werewolves too, Danny? At the camp?
No.
Like this is a
No.
No.
No, I actually really didn't now that I think about it. Even when it was like awkward with her like serving Bill that drink, I'm like, what is this chick? Like she's about to, home wreck this family, which she successfully does. But anyway, Bill.
Yeah. What did you think about the doctor? What did you think about the doctor, Wagner? It's interesting to go back too, because like having watched the movie and he's like in charge of the werewolf colony, like all the stuff he's saying at the start of the movie about like animal magnetism and the beast within and like the natural man being like the ideal man. Like he's like so obviously talking about like letting loose and being like letting the werewolf within essentially like take over and accept it. So it was pretty cool to rewatch it because I watched it a third time today and some of the stuff is just like so obvious. Danny, top of your list?
God, we've gone through so much already. Bill orgasming into a werewolf might be one of the most insane things I've ever watched in a film. I mean, his transformation while having sex was fascinating. I couldn't believe what I was watching on film.
Yeah.
Just the hair growing out of him and her.
Yeah.
This special effects I liked a lot.
Oh, I bet you did. Yeah. It's right up your delinquent alley. But man, I just couldn't get over it. It was probably the best transformation in the film, if I can be frank. It might even make the poster.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love that. Where they're like halfway there, they're just covered in hair. A couple like that too. They're like, hey, what if I just transform tonight and we see what happens?
Trying to rekindle that fire by any means necessary.
Oh no.
How about when first of all, this guy reminded me of Tom Atkins from Halloween 3. Like every time he was on screen. No, it's not.
I just said it was. It's not him. Oh,
it's not him.
That's not Tom Atkins.
Wait,
no.
Hold on, I'm clicking over.
Actor, Christopher Stone.
You're lying.
But I remember when he came on screen, I was like, man, this guy reminds me of Tom Atkins a lot.
That was him. Christopher Stone. He has a different face.
Yep, different guy.
Cujo.
His intro is fascinating too because he's like in the studio when Dee is on the case, like the undercover case, and somebody in the studio recognizes him because he introduces him. He's like, Stanford, right? And he calls him underneath like another line. He calls him Knockdown Neil, like he's like a famous football player from Stanford.
Oh yeah, I do remember
because he talks about it like opening up his own like gym or something. It's just like such a weird little mini off-screen subplot that is like barely even noticeable.
I mean, did he not make the pros? They couldn't change his name from Stanford to whatever.
No, Stanford, the school.
Right.
That's where you knew him from.
That's all I knew him from.
Yeah, that's such like an 80s weird little one-liner that means nothing else in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of moments like that, or it's just like characters saying such weird things. Or I thought of the scene with the dog, like that like psycho dog who jumps in through the window to try to get at Karen.
Oh my gosh.
That is such like a random moment in a movie to have like this dog that's ready to attack somebody for like, and it's just gone. It's like that. It's just like this one moment for like.
Also, there was no like violins playing loudly when the dog, or like a noise when the dog jumped up. It was just literally the dog, and like that's the jump scare. Like you don't really see.
It got me though. Not gonna lie,
it was frightening.
I jumped.
Dick Miller, who I think worked with Dante a bunch. He was like the guy who ran that bookstore. He's also in Gremlins. Dude, that bookstore was sick. Can you imagine working at that bookstore and like having an encyclopedic knowledge of all those books, all the random, like paranormal werewolf BS. He had silver bullets in the store.
Some customer ordered them and then come back for them?
Yes.
You're a bookstore. How are you placing orders for silver bullets?
It's like a
also,
werewolf.
I just want to have
Depot.
I want to have one of those bookshelves that's tall enough for me to attach a ladder to it. Like I want to have a bookshelf in my house that I can slide around. Maybe put like comic book trades up there or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the height of, you made it. Like I have a tall bookshelf with a ladder attached.
That guy is such a jerk, though. Like, I would never go back there because if you wanted a book, you'd have to ask him, and he's all like pissed off no matter what anyone says to him. I'd be like, "F this." I'm not.
You
I'm
wouldn't
not
find that endearing. Like, I got to talk to my boy at that bookstore. He's a hoot.
He knows.
You know,
werewolf Nazi guy. Like, no.
My God,
I'm not. I'm taking my business elsewhere.
The nuns even shop there.
Yeah, the nuns. Remember the nuns making those faces going in there? Those
they were
staring
horny.
at the head of Lucifer.
They've heard about this werewolf sex. They're doing the research.
They just want to read about it. That's all they want to do. Just to explore.
If we transform, it's not a sin.
Proto, next on your list?
Oh, man. Karen, I just...
Leave Karen alone.
Let it out.
How about everybody knowing who Karen is? Hey,
yeah.
Wait a second. Aren't you that girl from the show? Mm-hmm. Every single character greets her this way.
Listen, all you had was 3, 6, or 10. You had 3, 6, or 10. You knew everyone working on those stations.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. I thought D. Wallace was pretty rough in this.
Really?
No.
Yeah. Maybe it was maybe it was the blocking. Maybe it was the blocking in these scenes.
Get out of here.
But she just looked like dead in the water. I just couldn't take any of those scenes seriously, where again, her just not moving, PTSD, whatever it might be. I just could not buy the way her character acted, but I just also was not buying her performance. Karen, the lead, she needs to lead me. I need to believe. And I just couldn't believe with what she was dishing out. I'm sorry.
Damn.
When she walks in and sees her dead friend, or I guess coworker, she didn't even react.
Yes.
She just kind of like, they just cover you back up with whatever I found your body under. I was so like shocked.
She came home from work and she forgot she left like the milk out.
Oh man. They got her.
I love D in this. I'm a huge D fan. D. Wallace is an absolute fox. Wasn't she in E.T.?
Oh, yeah. She's the mom, baby.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's dynamite. She's been through a lot.
Yeah. PTSD.
She's getting tricked by this psychotic wolf doctor.
Yeah.
He's puppet mastering this whole thing for her. Remember, he was like giving her tips on how to deal with that serial killer. He was in there the whole time.
Yeah, and she knows her husband is bone in. Remember, she called it out immediately.
In. Oh my God. That might be a podcast first. No one has ever said that phrase in reference to what we were discussing.
That's fantastic.
I don't even know.
We might have to bleep that. Save that for the uncut.
Bone in.
When he smacks her,
right?
That's in my notes.
I needed him dead on the spot.
Like a backhanded slap. Have you ever backhanded slapped anything in your life? Like, honest question.
legally? I can't. No, you can't.
Mean, just do the motion.
My knuckles
Have you
would
ever
break.
done like just doing the motion of backhanded slap? It's weird. Like what?
I'm trying to do it now.
Everyone listening at home right now, take up your right arm, do a backhanded slap. Just try it. Like it feels cool, but like you've never done it.
He looks like he's a professional at it.
Right.
Also, because when you're doing it, you're kind of engaged. You're hitting something that's out of your field of view. Yeah. So you're so angry that you're just going to swing your arm.
Yeah, he turned
and see what happened.
That's true. I can't believe what I saw.
Bone in. Whose turn is it? Deity's turn, maybe?
I think that one of the best moments in this film is, and I quote,
"Come on, take it easy, pal. You know, not all of us got enough money for a Mazda. Some of us have to work for a living. You know what I mean?
Not all of us have enough money for a Mazda. Some of us have to work for a living." When he pulls up to that gas station and that guy gets mad at him driving a Mazda, it felt like how people I know react to seeing a Cybertruck these days. That's what it looked like that guy saw, was a Cybertruck. And he was pissed. I
didn't even know Mazdas were like that in the past.
No, I didn't know either. It must have been like imported.
Yeah, maybe early 80s. That's a hot ride.
I've had a Mazda or two.
If anyone needed a back slap, you did?
I've had two Mazdas. Yeah, I had a Mazda
Which
3 and a Mazda 5, the hatchback. It was like our
Is
family.
Is the Mazda 3 the
car
rotary engine? Or is that the RX?
I don't know what you mean by that at all. Rotary. It was a regular Mazda.
Okay.
4-door.
Not all of us, Slim, have enough money for a Mazda. So some of us have to work.
You know,
for a
one of
living.
them, the Mazda, I think it was a 3. I don't know if it was a whatever, but it had heated seats at one point. They broke, but like for 2 winters, it was awesome. Heated seats. That's the height of luxury. That's like having a ladder attached to a bookshelf.
Speaking of the Mazda, that scene at the end where they're driving away, you know, this guy gets out of the car to try to stop them. You're in a car. Why are you not running this werewolf over at this point? He stops and gets out and they get into a gunfight again.
Yeah.
Not the hero we needed.
No, I actually wish that the other gal, like, she was doing a lot of the legwork.
The smart
Mazda
ones?
boy's partner. I wish that he was the one who got annihilated and then, like, she comes to kind of help and save the day with a gun. Like, that would have been such a cooler twist to have her, because I actually felt like bad when she got murdered. I was like, I kind of liked her. And she was like, you know, cracking this case open.
Great. She was the only one with brains.
When the werewolf grabs the file from her, that's the shot of the movie for me. That was amazing.
The slow grab of the file by the werewolf hand. Amazing. I don't understand how silver bullets work, though. You can shoot them anywhere in the body and it'll kill them.
It's a great question.
It doesn't have to be like a kill shot. It just has to hit them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the question I was asking last? I was asking something last week where I was told to shut up, that I was asking too many questions about a vampire.
I would never tell you to shut up.
What was the question I was asking about D? Not D Wallace. D, our friend Dracula.
What were you?
Oh, the wolf. I was asking how he transformed into a
right.
sexual. What are the chances we have 2 movies back to back with werewolf,
Boning
hot
wolves.
werewolf sex like this?
I haven't gotten to that chapter yet. I have started
you did
Dracula. I have started the book. I have not gotten that far yet. I'm still in Dracula's castle with
Please,
Jonathan Harker.
I need all details when you get to that chapter.
Okay.
In fact, if you could photocopy the pages.
He's hip firing that rifle, and he's knocking them out.
They were great shots.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have anything else major. I don't really. I thought the intro was pretty cool. The glass breaking for the Howling logo. When the glass like exploded towards the camera. That was pretty badass.
Also, whatever other intro logos there were, they were bangers.
Mm-hmm. My first note was actually like mentioning my neighbors. My neighbors don't have control over their dogs, so they were like howling as soon as the movie started. Like anytime, like just totally no control over their dogs. They have like 4 dogs. They bark all the time. Anyone walks by.
Do you have to yell at them? Put
No.
your dog on a leash.
They're always on a leash.
Okay. They're not those people.
No. I bet when the one dude was eating wolf chili. Did you catch that?
What?
Well, the empty chili can at his place.
Wolf chili?
Yeah.
That's too much.
The size of the camera. One guy was like holding a video camera at that studio that looked like it was 100 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
How about the friend Terry? Her little camera that she had. She was snapping shots.
A little Canon.
Yeah. Slim, you're on this live film journey now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How soon until you make some kind of move like this?
I mean, I've had like 3 roles developed already. 4 roles developed.
What's the cost of one roll?
I had to get through my list here for the Howling. We don't have time to get into this.
Save it for the uncut.
I don't even want to know.
Save it for the uncut. I mean, I liked the stuff with the doctor trying to almost like rehabilitate the werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and how he lays the seeds pretty much like all movie. How about that building going up? And I mean, Minari homage. Was Minari homaging the Howling? I mean, that building was up in flames, and those werewolves were in there. That was going crazy, dangerous.
With that, them trying to rehabilitate the werewolves, I feel like this movie would almost be more interesting if it wasn't cast as a mystery about that. If from the beginning you knew that there was like this rift of, one party wanting to eat cows and the other saying, no, we should embrace it. Like, that's a more interesting storyline of like this community of werewolves to me than this one woman kind of being stalked by werewolves.
That's Twilight.
Fair.
You're describing
If
Twilight
it wins
now.
the vote,
God.
we can get into it.
Destiny.
Becca.
Dude, that means we'd have potentially 3 movies of werewolves having sex this month,
My
right?
God.
Or does he not show
Is
up
there
until the
werewolf
second movie?
sex in
I don't remember.
the first Twilight?
God willing.
That's
My last
50
note
Shades.
would be about the ending, which is probably my favorite part of the whole movie,
Okay.
where she escapes and she's doing the live broadcast and she transforms live on television.
Yo.
And he gets the gun out to shoot her.
Yo.
And then people are like, they show the bar patrons reaction like, oh, that was fake. That was special effects, etc. I love the ending of this movie.
Yes. Yes. I was so happy with this ending. I was like, man, this is a 1-star movie. And then this ending happens and I'm like, whoo, baby. They really stuck the landing to this film.
Yeah.
How
Or
about
you
her?
You hated this ending.
No, I liked it too. I like that part of them being like, this is fake. Just writing it off. It's too real. It's the times we live in. But how about her being an Ewok version of a werewolf? What happened? Did they run out of budget for her werewolf costume? I'm not sure what was going on.
Emblem vibes are through the roof.
I did read that allegedly she did not want to have elaborate makeup or like, don't make me spend 8 hours in a makeup chair. I don't know if that's true or not, but it definitely looked that way.
Did Dee have this kind of pull in 81?
I think her and Joe were friends. I think they were in Piranha. They did Piranha. His
Man,
like
she
first
didn't
movie
do
that like
E.T. until 82, though. Oof. This got her to roll.
She's been in a lot of movies. Lots of
Oh,
movies.
she was in Frighteners. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Critters.
I mean, Christopher Stone and the Nympho lady, they were in costume by the fire boning, and she wanted to do one scene in costume.
Makes you think.
Go all out. Did she really want it enough, Dee Wallace?
Maybe the backhand was improv.
So dumb. Let's see. So I went through my whole list. So I think I'm at 3.5 stars for The Howling. I might go down a half star from 4, but I'm in that range. I still have a lot of fun with this movie. I think it's fun. I'm not saying it's a great movie. It's not Joe Dante's best, but I think this is a pretty fun werewolf movie. I think it's hard to talk about this movie when American Werewolf in London like came out the same year. This is gonna live in the shadow of that movie forever, for better or worse.
What if Rick did the actual production of this one instead?
Yeah. What changes from then on? You know?
What to think about.
Proto?
Honorable mentions. There's a moment where this soundtrack sounded like circus music. Did you guys hear that?
No.
No, I don't remember that.
There was some really bizarre moments with the music. Not sure where that came from. Them hearing the howling in the woods. If I heard those noises while I was in the woods, I would be pooping my pants.
Yeah.
I'm not looking around like, oh, I wonder what that could be. It's like I am running full sprint back into whatever cabin I came from.
Mm-hmm. You're going into the corner of the cabin, away from everything, if you hear that.
Exactly. Oh, when Terry has to chop through the blood and bone of a werewolf in that little corner in the cabin, that was pretty.
The hand.
Yeah, the hand. That the bubbling.
And it came back into a regular person's hand. But he didn't regenerate.
Not yet.
It takes time.
Oh, how much time does it take to regenerate?
I don't know.
Because he still had his like.
I mean, that dude came back from the dead. That was the serial killer, and he still had like the bullet wound in his forehead from the cop shooting.
Oh, does he pull the bullet out of his head?
Oh, that's what he was doing. Is that what it was? That was so weird, him pulling that out of his head.
Oh.
You want to see what I can do?
Oh, so they killed the guy in the... Oh, okay. I'm getting it now. It's all coming back to me.
Okay.
Because they didn't find him in the morgue.
Right. He left.
Oh,
I thought they had stolen his body, but I guess he just regenerated.
Running around.
Oh.
I think that was the other thing with this, was all these different werewolf scenes. I wasn't thinking, oh, it's one werewolf. Who is it? I was like, oh, it's just a random werewolf. So I had no reference of like who was doing what. And I guess it makes more sense at the end if you don't know what's happening. I thought like the first half hour of this, outside of the opening scene, was like a mess. Like you could cut out the 30 minutes of this movie and not change any, like it doesn't affect anything. So I found a lot of it like boring and rough. Like I said, I think the acting is pretty bad. I don't know. I think the whole movie was kind of a mess, unfortunately. Like, of course, I love werewolves. I'm probably the biggest werewolf fan on this podcast.
I can see that.
But this didn't really do it for me. So I'm at 2 stars for The Howling.
2 stars for The Howling.
Goodness. We've talked about everything. I'm at 3 stars for The Howling. I had a good time. It's not great, but there are some, I think the effects kept me in it, even if they were, like I didn't mind sitting and watching the werewolf train transform for 5 minutes because it's pretty fascinating what they did with the face. But yeah, 3 stars. I had a good time. It's fine. God, so loud in my headphones. Jeez.
Next week is Nosferatu.
We're here.
What's the year of Nosferatu? Anybody know offhand?
23.
22.
22.
A symphony of horror. This is streaming pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's read the synopsis here. Vampire Count Orlok expresses interest in a new residence and a real estate agent Hutter's wife. Directed by F.W. Murnau. A lot of famous shots in this movie, folks.
Yeah.
Maybe the most famous movie we've ever covered.
Oh. It's definitely the oldest.
Is that possible? Trying to see.
I think so.
A bunch of theaters, if you're listening to this, probably it's like a Patron or otherwise, a bunch of theaters are doing, like musical accompaniment showings.
Yes.
That musicians will be in the theater with you playing music as you watch this.
What's
is this
that?
a silent film? Can anyone confirm
It is a
this?
silent film.
There you have it.
Yeah.
I'm going to the silent synced screening for Radiohead.
Yeah, that's why Radiohead, they're doing that because
the Radiohead thing.
Sync your music.
Ambler Theater, which our friend Grant will be at, I think, is doing it the night we record.
Oh.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. We're not recording Thursday next week. We're recording Tuesday. So either way, we won't be in town. Spoilers. So if you want to enjoy something different, go see this movie in theaters. Check your local listings to see if Nosferatu is playing with music. And then our Patreon vote is happening. Young Frankenstein, Salem's Lot, or Twilight to close out the month. What should it be? Proto, is there a movie you're least excited about on that list that you want to reveal out of those three?
Wait, what was the second one again? I can't even remember.
Salem's Lot from the master himself, Toby Hooper.
Well, honestly, I'm not excited about rewatching Twilight. I was kind of in the boat of doing Twilight 2, of continuing the journey.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that Salem's Lot is not going to be my bag. Probably the most of those movies. So it's a toss-up between those two.
We'll have fun.
If you want to do Twilight 2, let us know in the comments of the Patreon poll. Right? Hashtag Twilight 2 poll 2024.
Spell Twilight
That's your
with
comment.
A 2.
All right.
Grace Allen in chat is asking about a 70mm roast discussion. There's this topic in chat tonight that there should be an episode focused on listeners roasting us. We're like giving hot takes about us as having read by our producer, Dale.
I think it's a great idea.
Grace needs to give us an example of like a hot take.
She has to get some stuff off her chest.
She obviously has one that she's ready to slap someone in the face with. We didn't hear Slim or Proto's thoughts on what, the roast idea?
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is a mistake for the audience. This is a mistake for them. They don't know what they're getting into.
That's a great point.
I'm withholding my thoughts.
If you can't bring your roast game, we'll have to roast you back.
Yeah, reverse roast.
If you want to roast,
it's the worst.
If you want a future roast,
I was born roasting people.
Leave a comment on the poll. Hashtag I want the roast 2024 Patreon episode on the comments.
Danny was prenatal roasting.
Proto, any closing thoughts this week?
Roasting from the womb.
I do closing thoughts. Last week I mentioned that I was in a journey to heal from Joker 2. My Joker 2 experience. I needed closure. I needed to find closure from somewhere. Yeah. I've been reading articles. I've been listening to other podcasts. And wouldn't you know it, that closure came from the most unlikely source. This is unbelievable that I've been able to move on from the Joker. When here's a movie about a comic book villain set in a nitty-gritty drama, right? Who would have thought that my closure would come from a limited series TV show about a comic book villain in a nitty-gritty drama? And of course, I'm talking about Penguin.
Yeah.
The Penguin on Max has healed me completely from the pain of the Joker sequel. I've watched all 3 episodes. I am healed at this point. I'm in love with the show. Ring of Powers is over. We now have Penguin. We're in Penguin era, and it feels really good.
This is our Penguin era. God, I love you, Proto.
Imagine hearing that 6 months ago out of Proto's mouth, how absurd it would sound. We'll see everybody next week for Nosferatu. $70mm is a tape deck production featuring original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance and V'ger, the robot who loves movies, provided by Pertalexis. Producer at large Dale_A. And music composed by Cinematric. Prints and other merch are available on 70mmpod.com. This episode was mixed, edited, and produced by me, Slim. Support our Patreon for access to our VHS Village Discord to talk movies with new friends, access to our exclusive episodes in the 70mm vault, discounts on merch, uncut episodes, and a physical membership card mailed to you. To check out other Tape Deck podcasts, find the link in the episode notes. And if you'd like to support our friends at Letterboxd and upgrade to Pro or Patron status, You can do so with a 20% off discount using the links on 70mmpod.com. Goodbye.
This is a Tape Deck podcast.